How you doing, Internet? I'm B-Nuts, and happy May the 4th, Star Wars Day. Today, I'd like to talk to you about my favorite Star Wars character of all time, ever. And that would be Mara Jade. Ooh, spoiler alert, according to Timothy Zahn, she was a complex character, but not one who was difficult to write. This is because she was nuanced, but also simple in understanding what motivated her and the ways in which she acted and spoke. Physically, Zahn described Mara as having a dancer's body, auburn hair, and emerald green eyes. That's it. Emotionally, she was somewhat dragged down by baggage of being the Emperor's hand, and then afterwards, when he died, carrying around the hate and anguish that he had transmitted to her through their telepathic link through the Force. Because she was one of his hands, he was always giving her commands, just guiding her along. Emperor Palpatine had taken Mara from her parents at a young age and trained her in various martial arts, as well as the use of various weapons and use of the Force, although he stopped short of guiding her either towards the Jedi or Sith path. It was her task to spy and investigate upon people who Palpatine thought would be acting counter to his will. Palpatine sent Mara after insurgents, rebels, and corrupt Imperials alike, and she was very thorough in her investigations of them. Once Mara reported back to Palpatine, it was up to him and his enforcers, usually, to decide what to do. However, Mara sometimes acted as executioner and assassin as well. Even as an agent of the Empire, Mara had a strong sense of justice. When she found an official who was close to a corrupt one but who was just and fair, she would support him and make sure that he would withstand the fallout from the corrupt official being assassinated or otherwise removed. Zahn wrote 2 novels centered around Mara that happened between A New Hope and Return of the Jedi. They chronicled some of Mara's investigations, and while she may have gotten close to meeting Luke Skywalker and the rest of the main cast, she did not actually get there. She chased after the Millennium Falcon and was assisted incidentally by Chewbacca, but she never ended up meeting any of them. During Return of the Jedi, she had infiltrated Jabba's palace as a dancer, but she was unable to fulfill Palpatine's command of killing Luke Skywalker because Jabba refused to allow her onto the sand barge. She tried to use a mind trick on him, and he immediately became suspicious of her and sent her away. This meant that Mara was unable to make Luke's lightsaber fly away in a different direction, and therefore Luke was able to fight free. If Mara had been there, a Force vision in Heir to the Empire suggests, Luke would have been killed there. During the Heir to the Empire trilogy, Mara is filled with hate towards Luke because she believes that he is responsible for Vader's betrayal of Palpatine and Palpatine's subsequent death. She also keenly felt Palpatine's death aboard the second Death Star through their telepathic link. At the beginning of the series, Mara had linked up with a smuggler named Talon Karrde and was working her way towards becoming his number 2 within his organization. It was within this capacity that she first met Luke, and they were forced to work together in order to get around Grand Admiral Thrawn. Throughout all of Mara's subsequent appearances, she's proved time and again her resourcefulness, her keen skills and insight, both in reading people and in using a variety of weapons. She is also a skilled mechanic and pilot. One of her favorite fighters to fly is the Z-95 Headhunter, and she has also had a variety of larger ships, such as a personal yacht, which she called the Jade Fire, and also the Jade Saber, and her last one, the Jade Shadow, which Luke Skywalker continued to fly together with their son Ben. Although Mara grew from respect to love towards Luke Skywalker, and he trained her in the ways of the Jedi, she never let her skills in spycraft rust or dull in any sort of way. In fact, these are things which she ended up teaching to their son. He used them to great effect as Jacen Solo's apprentice as well. While fighting beside Luke and the others, Mara came to be a Jedi Master on the Council beside him. She had been very skilled within the Force before, and while her power weakened when she wasn't able to connect with Palpatine after his death, she again became more powerful under Luke's guidance. However, she had plenty of strength and skill and insight of her own, independent of either Palpatine or Luke, because of all the things that she had learned throughout her life. Not just as an Emperor's hand, but also as a smuggler. So she had a way of gathering information that, because she was working with Card, was very much appreciated by him. And like Thrawn, Card believed in the trade of information and the power of it in order to change and shape the entire galaxy. Besides that, Mara was hardly ever without her tools or weapons, at the very least a holdout blaster. And later, as a Jedi, of course, she always had her lightsaber. So these helped her to fight threats such as Lumia and the Yuuzhan Vong, an alien species which basically worshipped pain, and all of their technology was organic, basically. It was grown to become whatever it was, including the engines on their spacecrafts, and their crafts were also organic. During the Yuuzhan Vong War, Mara was infected by a virus, and she had to fight it using only the Force. And she did until she gave birth to Ben. Although Mara had trouble trusting others due to her experiences, she also craved other human contact. And so she was quite happy to have that with Luke and the others. She cared deeply for them, and she would do anything to protect them, especially Luke and Ben, because they were family. So when she perceived a threat from someone such as Lumia, Dark Lady of the Sith, or even her nephew Jacen, who was becoming Darth Caedus, she went and investigated them, and then also tried to take matters into her own hand as concerns justice. And it was in that spirit that she confronted Jacen, and then the whole thing in Sacrifice happened. Although I do admit I seem to have a thing for redheads, especially those with green eyes as well. It's Mara's strength, both as a character and physically, that I appreciate the most, and that make her my favorite Star Wars character. And even though she is part of the old expanded universe, Legends, she still very much exists in my mind as part of the Star Wars story, and a very important part of it too. While Zahn may have created her specifically for his books, she has been a presence in plenty of other books under plenty of other authors ever since, at least until Sacrifice. Although she did have some influence afterwards as well, because hey, that's kind of stuff happens with the Force. And of course, Mara is far from alone in being a strong female character within the Star Wars universe, expanded or otherwise. There are ones like Winter Kelchu, who was one of Leia's oldest friends, and through her perfect memory, an officer within intelligence. She carried herself with such elegance and grace that visitors to Alderaan's court thought she was the princess. And of course, if we're talking about princesses, there's of course Leia, as well as her daughter Jaina Solo. Not only a Jedi Knight like her mother, but a great pilot as well. One of the best that Rogue Squadron has ever had. On the Imperial side, there were personalities like Zahn, who was herself maybe a little bit insane, and Natasi Dala. Dala was one of Palpatine's Grand Admirals, and he handpicked these, just as he handpicked Grand Admiral Thrawn. And in the case with Thrawn, this was despite him being an alien, and Palpatine didn't really like dealing with them. In Dala's case, it was despite her being a woman, and that was because she had some ability to command, and she had that level of charisma. But at the same time, she had done some questionable things, and so she was stuck at the Maw installation in the Kessel system for a long time. So long, in fact, she didn't know that the Emperor was dead. And she found out after an incident with a weapon called the Sun Crusher, which was similar to the Death Star in some aspects, but much smaller and much, much harder to destroy. She continued to harass the New Republic until the Yuzong Vong came along and attacked. When the New Republic was restructured as the Galactic Alliance, she became one of its chief of states. And she was the one who brought the Jedi to call in relation to every time a Jedi had cut off an arm or leg in pursuit of their justice. So she was the one who was responsible for exiling Luke as the Jedi Grand Master and basically giving him his mission in order to find out why Jason went the way he did. In any case, Mara Jade Skywalker is still the one who has left the strongest impression in me. I enjoyed her character and her growth. I enjoyed watching her be such a strong character with great impact within the Star Wars universe, and even though I wish she was made canon again in a way, I also like the fact that she is preserved the way she is within the Legends books. So, given all that, I hope you enjoyed my little Star Wars Day video. Leave a comment below, like, subscribe to show your support if you would like, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye!